Hi, Ben here and welcome back to the workshop, and we just thought we'd give you a little top tip for all you budding knife makers out there. If you are like me and you like to use a lot of composite handle material, especially G10, then we thought this would be a perfect tip for you. So G10 is an amazing material. It's really easy to drill and it's fantastic to grind and shape, but it's an absolute bugbear to actually cut. So G10 normally comes in big boards, and I have to cut it up into various sizes for, say, nomads and things like that. And I used to have a real game cutting it, because if you use a normal bandsaw blade, even if you use a bimetal bandsaw blade, you'll find that it will dull very quickly, and if you're trying to cut very accurate straight lines, it just goes straight away. So some people resort to using a diamond tipped tile saw, which does work, but they're quite messy, they're quite slow, and also because the diamond disc is quite thick, you lose quite a lot for the kerf. So what I've found is I found a saw supplier, and they actually manufacture carbide tipped bandsaw blades. So they're quite expensive, obviously depending on the length of your bandsaw. This works out to be about, I think it's about 130 inches on this particular saw blade, so it was quite pricey. Probably costs about £100 for this bandsaw blade. But basically I've been using it for about 4 years now, and it's still just as sharp as the day that I got it. The only slight disadvantage is you're limited to what tooth pattern you can get. So this is actually quite an aggressive tooth pattern on this particular saw. And when I got it I was like, wow, that's going to be just ridiculous to actually use for cutting G10. But I'll fire up the saw and you can actually see how easily it cuts, and also the accuracy of cut that we get as well. So a bit noisy, but yeah, I'll show you how that runs. So turn the extractor on. And this is just some scrap material. And you can see how quickly it cuts through that G10. The biggest disadvantage with this particular blade is that you can't get them very narrow. So I think this is about ½ inch in width, so you still can't cut really tight curves. So if you notice, when I was cutting that Nomad, I just sort of angled facets off it, but it allows me to cut the G10, and certainly I can cut up to 3/8 or double layers of 3/8 material really efficiently. And like I say, an expensive asset for the workshop, but I basically have been using that for 4 years and still just as sharp as ever. So hopefully that will help all you knife makers. We'll maybe try and put a link into the manufacturer that made my bandsaw blade, and obviously they're custom made, so whatever size machine you've got, they'll be able to make one to fit. So hope that helps.